guys, it's Kat and I'm back today to film late at night. It's like 10:30 at night. And I will list a couple of makeup items that you can see, but this is the second layer of makeup on my face. I did my makeup this morning. I've done it just then, so I don't know what's going on. I thought I'd do an update to my no buy. So this is my second month of a no buy. And the rules are essentially that I don't buy stuff for me. So no clothes, no makeup, no beauty products, no nothing, no nothing. The only exceptions will be things like toothpaste, which I don't really classify as like buying things for me. It's like household stuff. And deodorant and sunscreen will be the only other exceptions to this. Everything else I do not need. I've got skincare galore, I've got body products galore, I've got makeup galore, I've got clothes galore. So this is just a way for me to curb some of my not impulse spending habits, because I've been having discussions with people in the comments on these videos, and a lot of people are like, don't impulse buy. I do a lot of like ridiculous amount of research and I wait for sales. I barely buy anything full price unless it's from a brand or a sort of store that I know doesn't have sales. I will sit and wait for something for months for it to go on sale or for there to be like a coupon code or something. So I rarely impulse buy. Rarely do I do that these days anyway. So it's not so much about curbing my spontaneous spending. It's more about using what I currently have and forcing myself to get use of what I currently have that's like clogging up my apartment before I buy more stuff and essentially waste money on things that will just sit there. So that's the whole sort of point of this. I did also mention, I think in the intro of this, that one of the reasons I'm doing this as well is because I've been saving money to buy a new place. Well, update, we bought a new place. We're actually moving in about a month's time. So yeah, I have spent money in the past month, a lot of money on a new house. Of course, we've got a massive mortgage, but pretty much the vast majority of our savings is completely gone. So we have been buying stuff. And I think because we have bought a place, it has really stopped me wanting to spend at all, if that makes sense. I have in my head that we're like going to be packing, we've got to, do removalists, we've got to install new air conditioners when we move in and new blinds because my baby won't sleep with the current blinds, it's too bright during the day, So in my head, I have all this stuff that I need to do and money that we need to spend. So looking at like a clothing item, I'm like, I don't need it. Let's be real. So this month has actually been really easy because I've spent a lot of money and it's almost like just dried up my urge to even browse shops. In saying that though, lockdown has lifted in Melbourne and I did actually browse the shops for the first time today. So that's why I thought this was a perfect time to talk about this, because I do feel like, especially for makeup, the urge to buy is definitely more intense in store. Now you might be thinking, Kat, you just said that you do a lot of research. Yeah, I do, but I also like to check things out in store, often go away, think about it for a while, wait for a sale, or vice versa, research things online and finally see it in store and make a decision. So it's just part of my research process, and sometimes seeing something in store is like the final straw to wanting to buy it. Also, I haven't been browsing a store besides the chemist or the supermarket since May. So, you sort of want to just go out and like have lunch with a friend and celebrate by buying yourself something that makes you feel good. So that urge was definitely there today. So like I normally do in these updates, I'll tell you what I've bought and then also what's on my sort of temptation list. And I can tell you I've bought nothing besides a townhouse. It's not even a house. Things are so expensive in Melbourne. We couldn't even afford a goddamn house. We had to get a townhouse, but it's a good, decent step up from an apartment. So we're very happy and really looking forward to moving. So I've spent nothing besides, I did go to the dentist. Does that count as spending money on myself? Not really. I've got a haircut booked for next week. Does that count? I'm hoping not. So yeah, bought nothing for myself, go me. But there has been makeup that I've been looking at. Now, you guys are going to be disappointed in me. The Natasha Denona Glam Palette was top on my temptation list for the second month in a row. And let's be real, I've been wanting to get this for like 12 months. Now, I nearly had a lapse, a sleepy, tired lapse, and I almost purchased it. I got an email reminder or an alert from the Sephora app saying that their 20% off sale was ending midnight that night. I was literally in bed at like 11 o'clock and I was like, and I put it in my cart and I was like, I won't tell anyone, I'll just do it. And then I was like, no. I looked at swatches, I looked deep at the swatches, and I realized there's only really maybe a fraction of the palette that I am really lusting after. The rest of it, I'm like, I just wouldn't really use, or it's really repetitive. So I did actually leave the cart. I abandoned the cart. I was very proud of myself. And then I had nothing on my temptation list until I was browsing the store today. Now, I think I did mention last month as well that Charlotte Tilbury has come to Mecca. So it's the first time that we've had Charlotte Tilbury in store. So I actually got to browse today. And there is a few things on my wish list, and they've been on my wish list for a while. But again, I've just wanted to swatch and find the right shades because I do have a couple of Charlotte Tilbury things. I really like the quality, but to buy more at that price point, I was like, I need to really, really, really want the specific shades. So I did browse today, and there are things that I'm like, as soon as I've moved house, as soon as we've bought whatever furniture we need, and I have some like money just stashed away, I'm going to buy like $300 of Charlotte Tilbury. It is what it is. Anyway, what's on my list? I had the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This is 65 Australian dollars. Now I did manage to get a sample pot, so I will try that. I'm not sure how it's going to go on my oily skin, so it's a product that I wouldn't buy outright anyway. I would want to, play around. I've got a sample of the shade 2.5, which is like a warmer tone. And essentially what it is, it's like an illuminating cream product. You can either use it as like sort of under your base, mixed with your foundation, as a highlighter. Those products are a bit iffy on oily skin because they could make you look quite greasy. So I wasn't willing to pay the $65 for a full thing and it just sit there. So I do have a sample and I haven't used it yet, but I'm really keen to do that. But I do have a Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow quad, and I really like the quality of it. It's one of those sort of formulas that if you've got a bit of aging skin or skin texture or whatever it happens to be, the makeup just sort of glides over and really enhances your features. So it might not be the most impressive, sparkly, bold eyeshadow out there, but it's really, really flattering. I do have a quad. I really like it. It is slightly darker than what I would use on a daily basis. Like there's like 2 shades that I'd use pretty much all over the lid on a daily basis, and then there's 2 that I'd only really reach for if I'm going out at night, which I never do anymore. So the quad that I was looking at as sort of pairing with that to make it a little bit more daytime friendly is the Golden Goddess quad. This is 80 Australian dollars. $80 for 4 eyeshadows is absurd. But it's kind of my jam at the moment. I don't like reaching for big palettes. I want something small that creates a really beautiful look that I can throw on in minimal time, minimal thought process, minimal effort, and it just look good every time. So I would spend the money on that if I thought I needed to. And I've been packing away my makeup collection and I'm like, I don't need to spend money on any makeup. I've got boxes and boxes and boxes of makeup. And today I just threw out like 30 palettes. I let my son like scrape into it, like makeup breakup style, because he was really keen on that. But yeah, I threw away a lot of palettes. But I did confirm that in store, the shades that I would probably wear the most is Golden Goddess. And I wasn't sure just browsing online. So it sort of confirmed that. It's got a couple of sort of, they're like a neutral palette. There's like 2 warmer tone and 2 sort of cooler tone, but they're all shimmer. It's a shimmer quad, which means I've got to find mattes to pair with it, which is annoying, but it is what it is. Didn't buy it though. And another thing that I was really interested in was the Eyes to Mesmerize It's like a cream shimmery eyeshadow. I've heard great things about it for like years and years and years. And again, it was one of those things where I just didn't know what shade was going to suit me. And in store, I realized that Oyster Pearl is the shade that I think I'd vibe with the most, and that's 44 Australian dollars. And I'm glad that I did wait to see them in person, because they're very, very pink toned. Like most of the shades are very rose goldy, very pinky, very champagne pink. I don't like pink eyeshadow, so I'm glad I waited. But again, that's something that I don't need. When I was finding the prices for those, I did also come across the Charlotte Tilbury Golden Goddess kit. That's like a sampling kit of a few different products. I think there's like eyeliners, or eyeliner, mascara, lip gloss, lipstick, and the quad that I was after, as well as like a blush. So that, yeah, is a whole set for $328. And I was like, if I felt really spendy and I wanted to try a range of Charlotte Tilbury, that might be something I'd want to try and do like a review of or something. But that is, yeah, it's not on my list, but it was something that I was like, oh yeah, I don't mind that. When I was in store though, I had to really fight the urge to buy a holiday palette. This was from Nars. It's the Bijou eyeshadow palette, $84. At least it's not 4 eyeshadows. There's, I think it's 12 eyeshadows, 16 eyeshadows, even better. So this, oh man, I was really fighting the urge not to buy this. It's got sparkly shades that are gorgeous. I'll play a video on the screen. It does not do it justice. It's a lot more intense in person, a lot more sparkly, a lot more beautiful. So there's like 5 shades of that really beautiful sparkly texture, which I love. Like nude sparkle. Nude sparkle is my jam. If I can just wear like a matte and a crease and then put a beautiful sparkle on, like my makeup is done. I like that there's a column of sort of like a cooler tone nude, a warmer tone nude column, more of a berry red column, and then also there's like a copper sparkle and some sort of grungy greens. You know I love a grungy green. So the column that I'd use the least is probably the berry red column. If I took that out, I would probably find it very, very hard to stop myself from buying this, because it'd be one of my like perfect NARS palettes. I was so tempted to buy this. I'm not lying. I've seen this in photos and it's been on my, like, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll check that out when I'm in store. I did not realize how beautiful it was in store. And this was definitely one of those situations, especially it being limited edition. I was like, God, you got to get that before it goes. But then I just had to remind myself, look, I have sparkles that are fairly similar, sparkly shades in different palettes. Even though I do really like certain elements of this, again, there's sort of like a column that I don't really love. But ultimately, I've given myself permission that if I see this on sale on like Boxing Day or like early next year or something, Mecca often do sales where they will take like old limited edition releases that are like no longer being promoted and they will sell it for like half price. If I see this on sale, I will be adding that to my cart in a split second. I will assure you that. It is such a gorgeous palette and I'm still thinking about it. I reckon I'm going to dream about it tonight. That's how much I like this. But again, going through my palettes this morning before I went out shopping, I was like, I've got so many. It's ridiculous. So anyway, not including the Charlotte Tilbury kit, if I was to buy those products that I mentioned, the Glam palette, the Bijou palette, the Quad from Charlotte Tilbury, the Flawless Filter from Charlotte Tilbury, and the Eyes to Mesmerize, that would be $353. Now, you know, great. I didn't spend that on myself this month. It's a lot of money. But also in relation to what we've spent on a townhouse and what we're going to be spending on furniture and all this kind of stuff, I'm like, $353, man, that is a fucking steal because I'm in a lot of debt. Now, when I did start this no buy, I did also mention that I won't be buying any like homewares or anything like that. And when I was thinking of homewares, I'm thinking of like candles and like cushions or whatever, rugs or random stuff that like decorative, whatever. And I don't buy them often, but you know, I was not going to buy any. That will probably have to change because in the next month or two, we're buying a new couch, we're buying a new bed, we're buying new dining chairs, we're buying a new TV cabinet, we're buying a bunch of new coffee table, we're buying a whole bunch of stuff. So whether that happens before we move and we get it delivered to our new place, or whether we do it sort of gradually over the first few months of living there, I'm not too sure. But that element is not going to be in my no buy anymore. My no buy is going to be specifically for items for me and not for the house, because we're moving and we're going to be spending a lot of money. I did have a few people asking like what are tips to do to successfully do a no buy, and you know, what I think of certain like holiday packs and stuff. And I can luckily say that in my current scenario, not only did I have a lot of makeup fatigue, but planning, like if I want to browse something, I can just browse dining, like couches online. That fulfills my browsing thing and my urge to spend, but it's also channeled in something that's a little bit more functional, I guess. So I still have been browsing, just in a different sort of category. So I can't really give too many good tips on that. But in terms of the holiday stuff, like I feel like I've been buying makeup for so many years and been analyzing like holiday releases with beauty news for so many years, that the holiday packs really don't interest me. And I feel like this year, especially, so many brands are doing like collaborations with properties and movies and whatnot, and that really doesn't interest me anymore. I think I think post-pandemic and post having a baby, what really does interest me the most is sort of flattering fast makeup. So, you know, the gimmicks of this is themed around blah, blah, blah movie, I don't really care. I want it to be good and something that I'll get a lot of use out of. So that sort of makes it a lot easier to ignore a lot of holiday releases this year. So I am finding this a lot easier just because of the situation that I'm currently in. But I would have to say, if you do browse shops and if you do have temptations about buying things, what I sort of tried to remind myself today is I was trying to think through, you know, the products that I already own, and can I sort of dupe it, or do I have something similar? This is mainly the Nars palette. Do I have something similar, and how often do I use it? How often do I use that color story? And I had to really sort of process that. And I also had to walk away and like have a coffee and, you know, cool down a little bit. And then I came to the conclusion that with the sort of reds and purples and greens, and they're quite smoky, like realistically, I'm not going to wear that too often. Realistically, I don't leave my house in the evenings anymore because of my kid. So that sort of style of makeup, I don't really wear too often. So even though I might love a section of the palette, chances are it will sit in the drawer and it's not going to be one that I wear every day. So that's where I'm trying to put my money these days if I am going to buy makeup. So if you set sort of boundaries like that or guidelines on what you want, I think it can make it a lot easier, and you'll be surprised at how much you can rule out if you do have kind of set strong boundaries of what you really want from makeup. Realistically, I won't be back in a month's time to do the 3-month update because that's smack bang when I'm moving house. And there's no way I'm filming or editing or doing anything when I'm moving house. So I'll probably be back later in December to wrap this little mini no buy up and let you know what I thought about it. And sort of reflect on things I learnt, if I learnt anything. And I also have a sneaking suspicion that by going to the shops more and probably browsing more holiday releases, that temptation list might be getting long, but I'm hoping I won't buy any makeup. That's the goal. But that's it for this month. If you're doing a no buy, let me know how you're going in the comments, and leave tips for other people, because I'm pretty useless at giving tips other than spend all your savings and go through a lot of headache of moving house as a way of distracting you from buying, which I don't think is super practical, but that's my technique at the moment. So if you can share your tips with other people, that'd be really great. And I'll see you soon. Bye.